Hello YouTube, it's shintigercurl here, that dude in the straw hat, bringing you yet another awesome video. And it's time, as you can tell by the appearance, what you see on the screen, as well as the title, this is another Yu-Gi-Oh! Deck profile. A little update, my friend TCG Gaming, check out his channel, as a request, I've decided to switch over from DevPro to a new, Yu-Gi-Oh! Automated dueling system called Salvation. It's a lot better. It updates much faster than DevPro or Yu-Gi-Oh! Pro, and using pretty much all the cards revealed, even some cards that have not been revealed for the upcoming sets. So if you like DevPro but you really want something a little bit faster and a little bit better interface, I'd go with this one. Salvation is pretty good. So there's that. Anyway, for this deck profile, I will be profiling another relatively new archetype called Raidraptors. Now, Raidraptors are the new archetype used by the character Kurosaki from the Yu-Gi-Oh! Arc 5 animated series. It focuses around winged beast monsters, and the majority of the ones in your main deck, all the Raidraptors so far are level 4 dark attribute winged beast type monsters. The whole deck specializes around exceed summoning the various exceeds Raidraptors exceeds monsters. So this is my build. I just made this build right now, so it might not be the same build that you would want, but this is just what I've come up with. I haven't tested it yet, and I will show a video of me showing it off. But anyway, let's go through each of the monsters. First we gotta sort. Alright. First, we have Raidraptor Tribute Lanius. They're all named Raidraptor, so this is Tribute Lanius. Of course, level 4, Winged Beast Dark Monster, 1800 attack, 400 defense. Effect, during your main phase, if this card was normal or special summoned this turn, you can send one Raidraptor card from your deck to the graveyard. During your main phase 2, if this card destroys an opponent's monster by battle this turn, you can add one rank up quick play spell from your deck to your hand. You can only special summon Raidraptor monsters for the rest of this turn, and you can only use it once per turn. This one is relatively new. I mean, we had more Raidraptors introduced as the sets were released. This one is relatively new. So essentially what this does is you can send a Raidraptor card. That right there is very telling. Card, as in there are a lot of that means you can send anything that has Raidraptors in its name. That doesn't necessarily have to be a monster. And a few of the Raidraptor monsters and spell and trap cards have effects that pop off in the graveyard as well. So this is a good combo for it. And it has a decent attack, 1800, so you can pretty much run over almost anything that's a level 4 or lower, unless it's got high-ass attack or defense for that level. But yeah, it also allows you to thin out your deck by looking for a rank-up quick play magic card. I'm playing 3 because that's just how I roll. So anyway, moving on, we have Impale Lanius. Same as the first, 1700 attack, 1100 defense. Once during the main phase of this turn that this card was normal special summoned, you can target one face-up attack position monster, change it to face-up defense position. During your main phase 2, if this card attacked this turn, you can target a Raidraptor monster in your grave, special summon it, and you can only use it as effect once per turn. This one was also recently added, and it adds a very good bit of versatility and speed to it. Raidraptors can swarm the field like nobody's business, and this one just helps. Its first ability, where if it normal or special summon, it's good for not only switching that annoyingly high-ass attack monster into defense mode, but it also means it can, and because of the wording, you can target one attack position monster. So in case you have a Raidraptor monster that has low attack, and you can just activate Impale Lanius as effect and switch it to defense mode, giving you a little bit of extra defense. Or, like I said, switching that annoyingly high attack monster into defense mode, because oftentimes, 9 times out of 10, monsters with high attack have lower defense, but that's not always the case. But it's really just a good idea to have. And if this card attacked, meaning that it doesn't even have to kill anything, just as long as it attacks, you can target a Raidraptor monster and special summon it. which flows right into the overall theme because raidraptors get their effects from either being normal or special summon. So this is like a like a Call of the Haunted or a Monster Reborn anyway. I'm going to skip you for now. Here we have Vanishing Lanius, the first Raid Raptor to ever be introduced. 1300 attack, 1600 defense. You really won't be attacking with this. Once, if this card was normal or special summon, this turn, you can special summon a level 4 or lower Raid Raptor monster from your hand. This showed off the potential of Raid Raptors when it was originally released because this thing, I've done this combo before when I was testing it for Dev Pro. You can normal summon Vanishing Lanius, and if you have another Vanishing Lanius in your hand, you can activate the first one's effect, special summon the second one, and if you have another Raid Raptor, if you have another Vanishing Lanius in your hand, if you happen to have 3, you can pretty much summon all 3 of these in one go, because as long as it's normal or special summoned, it can just special summon any level 4 or lower Raid Raptor. And since all of your Raid Raptors are level 4, and I don't know if that's going to change anytime soon, but this is pretty much your go-to card. You want 3 of these. Alright, moving on. We have Mimicry Lanius. 1100 attack, 1900 defense. The highest defense of all the Raid Raptors. In their main deck anyway. During your main phase of the turn that this card was normal and special summoned, you can increase all the Raid Raptor monsters' levels you control by 1. During the main phase of the turn that this card was sent to the graveyard, you can banish this card from your graveyard, add a 1 Raid Raptor card from your deck to your hand, except Mimicry Lanius. You can only use this effect once per turn. This is a good searcher. Now, its first effect you might not really use unless you're going for a rank 5 exceeds, and they do have a rank 5 exceeds, but I haven't really found a use for it. But the second effect is the one you want to use, because when it's sent to the graveyard, either by card, and this is where this one comes in, you can use Tribute Lanius to send Mimicry Lanius to the graveyard, banish it, and get a Raid Raptor card. Again, there's that wording, card, as in you can just get one of the trap cards or another Raid Raptor monster. This gives it a bit of versatility. Sure, you have to banish it, but it's a small price. The price, the effect overwhelms the price because you lose a Raid Raptor, but you gain more variety and options and deck thinning as well. So run 3 of these for some searching power. Next up, the newest one released in Crossover Souls, Fuzzy Lanius. Doesn't look so fuzzy now, does he? He's 500 attack, 1500 defense. If you control a Raid Raptor monster other than Raid Raptor Fuzzy Lanius, you can special summon this card from your hand. If this card is sent to the graveyard, you can add a Fuzzy Lanius from your deck to your hand. You cannot special summon monsters during the turn this card was activated, any of its effects, except Raid Raptors monsters, and you can only use it once per turn. Now, this is a very good card, because regardless of whichever one you summon, that means you can summon Fuzzy Lanius straight from your hand. As long as you have a Raid Raptor that has a different name, if you even have 2 of these and even 1 of the other ones, you essentially have 3 monsters on board to do whatever you want, because the word says if you control a Raid Raptor monster other than Fuzzy Lanius. So as long as you control a different one from this one, you can special summon it regardless, even if you have 2. Its secondary effect is useful because of this, because of Tribute Lanius, you can just banish it, or because it's ditched as a seeds material for an exceeds monster. So it replenishes itself whenever it's sent to the graveyard. So there's that. I'm going to run 3 just to see how it works. And finally, the final Raid Raptor that debuted along with Fuzzy Lanius in Crossover Souls, Singing Lanius. It's 100 attack, 100 defense. You can only special summon Raid Raptor Singing Lanius by its own effect once per turn. If you control an Exceeds monster, you can special summon this card from your hand. Now, this one, I'm original. I don't like to say something is bad outright, but this one isn't. Well, it's not as strong as the others. It's the weakest Raid Raptor out there. Its effect pretty much is that it can only special summon it by its effect once per turn, so it's kind of limited to that. And you can only special summon it via having an Exceed monster on the field. It's not hard to have an Exceeds monster on the field. You will understand this when you see it. This is a very Exceeds heavy deck, but I don't know. I'll play with 3 just as a test. And those are all the raidraptor cards we have out now. Now there are a lot of cards you can tech into this deck that help it out. I'm gonna pull it up. Let's see. Okay, crap. I'm trying. I can't. For some reason, this doesn't want to work. Oh, wait a minute. I'm sorry. I had it searched for Exceed monsters instead of all of them. So please forgive me. All right. And one card you can. But first, I'm gonna show you what I teched into this deck. Harpiest. One of the new. They've been building up a lot of the older archetypes lately in the latest sets. So and Harpies have been getting a lot of support. This one is techable in this type of build. Harpy is 1700 attack, 1600 defense. This card's name becomes Harpy Lady while on the field or in the graveyard. You can only use each of these effects of Harpiest once per turn. 1. If this card was normal summoned, you can target one other winged beast type monster you control and one face-up monster your opponent controls, return to the hand. And 2, I'm sorry. Okay. And 2, during the end phase, if this card was sent to the graveyard because it was sent there this turn, you can add one winged beast monster with 1500 attack or less from your deck to your hand. Now, the first effect is you don't really care about whether or not it's called a Harpy Lady. You're not running a Harpy Lady deck here. You're running a fucking raidraptor deck. But it's the other 2 effects are useful. The first one is a good bounce effect. A lot of cards, as I mentioned before, have immunity to destruction. Bouncing is the preferred option now in this new type of game. You can and of course these guys excel at being special summoned. So bouncing one of these guys really doesn't lose you any field advantage. They can just bring themselves back for whatever. So yeah, the second one is very essential. You can if this thing is sent to the graveyard, regardless of the method, whether it's ditched from the hand, sent from the field because of a card attack or card effect, or just sent directly from the deck to the graveyard, you can just go search out one of the weaker raidraptor monsters. Anything with under 15 attack. So that means Tribute and Impelanius are out, but you can search Vanishing, Mimicry, Fuzzy, and Singing if you wanted to. So there's that. I'll have space for 2 more, but I'm using these 2. As for what other monsters you can tech into this deck, go down. This one. This is a good card. Summoner Monk. 1800 attack, 800 attack, 1600 defense, Dark Spellcaster. Can't be tributed. When this card is normal or 5th summoned, change its defense position. Once per turn, you can discard a spell card, such as summon a level 4 monster from your deck, but that monster can attack this turn. A lot of decks that use level 4 monsters or rank 4 spam or exceeds or synchro summoning use Summoner Monk. Sure, you lose a spell card, but hey, it's better if you can ditch a card that you don't need to get a monster. And sure, that monster can attack, but you won't be attacking with him anyway, since you'll more than likely be exceed summoning with him. So you can use that if you want. Or you can go Sacred Crane, another oldie but a goodie. Light monster, Winged Beast. 1600 attack, 400 defense. If this card was special summoned, draw 1 card. Now, in certain builds of this deck, it has ways of special summoning winged beast monsters, as I will show you when I get to the spells. So, or if you can comboing this with Summoner Monk, and you can get some free cards. So you can use either or. So I'm just testing this out. This is just a test build right here. So you don't have to necessarily follow this. Alright, moving on to spells. We have 1 limited Allure of Darkness. Draw 2 cards. Then banish 1 dark monster from your hand, or if you don't have any in your hand, send all your hands to the cards in your graveyard. Now this is a pretty good card because, as you can see, all of them of the raidraptors are dark monsters. The only different one you have is Harpy Harpius, which is a wind monster. Only play this if you have a dark monster in your hand. Don't try to chance it, because you could draw two but lose your entire hand. So make sure before you play this puppy, make sure you have one raidraptor monster in your hand, because that is just foolish. Alright, let's go to the rank up. Now remember when this one said to add a rank up quick play magic card? Well, the raidraptors have their own rank up spells. Now there are tons of rank up spells, but raidraptors have those specific to them, and there are two of them. So here we have rank up magic Raptor's Force. Quick play spell card. Activate during a turn that an exceeds monster you control was destroyed and sent to the graveyard. Target one exceeds or raidraptor exceed monster in your graveyard. Special summon that monster. Then special summon from your extra deck one raidraptor exceeds monster that is one rank higher, using it as exceeds material. This special summon is treated as an exceed summon. Exceed materials attached to that target also become exceed materials for the summoned monster. Now ranking up is very, very good to do, and you will be exceed summoning a lot. So set this face down, and if your opponent destroys that monster, you can just say bam, rank up, and rank up to another exceeds monster. Or and then you can do this back to back, since there's no limit to how many you can play. Next we have rank up magic Revolution Force. It is apply these effects depending on the turn that it was activated. Your turn. Target one raidraptor exceed monster you control. Exceed summon from your extra deck one raidraptor monster that is one rank higher than that monster you control by using it as exceeds material. Same as before. And come on, let me put you over here, son. All right. Your opponent's turn. Target one exceed monster your opponent controls that has no exceeds materials. Take control of it. Then exceed summon from your deck one raidraptor monster that is one rank higher than that monster, using it as exceeds material. More than likely, you'll be using the first effect of this of Revolution Force than the second one, because the second one seems too situational. But I can see where it comes in, but you want to use the first effect first on your turn. But the second one, you could tech it in just in case. Next up, we have Rank Up Magic Astral's Force. Target one exceed monster you control with the highest rank, your choice if tied. Special summon from your extra deck one monster with the same type and attribute of that monster you control, but two ranks higher by using it as exceeds material. Of course, same as effect. Let's see. Hold on. During your draw phase, if this card is in your graveyard, instead of conducting your normal draw phase, you can add this card from your hand from your graveyard to your hand. You can't special summon any during this turn. You activate this effect, except by the effect of Rank Up Magic Astral's Force. This is useful because in case you have an exceeds monster that you just a random rank 4 that you just want to get rid of, or this is good for just ranking up into the higher ranked exceeds monsters. So, and it's 2 ranks higher than these ones who can only go 1 rank. So there's that. I'm going to run one just to see how it works. Next up, we have another Raidraptor. Raidraptor's Nest, continuous spell card. If you control 2 or more Raidraptor monsters, you can add 1 Raidraptor monster from your deck or graveyard to your hand. You can only use this effect of Raidraptor's Nest once per turn. If I had more space, I would run 3 of these. These are epic searchers. You can search this out with, of course, Mimicry, Lanius, and just start. And of course, you're easily going to have 2 Raidraptor monsters. So this one not only adds cards from your hand, thins out your deck, but allows you to recycle those Raidraptors that you use for exceeds material or that were destroyed by battle. You definitely need at least 2 of these. And the one card I teched into this one is Swallow's Nest. Quick play spell card. Tribute a face-up winged beast type monster you control, and special summon a winged beast type monster from your deck with the same level as the tributed monster. This is very good because it can get rid of those raidraptors that you don't need to use, monsters that you don't want on the field, but don't want to have your opponent destroy them. I'm looking at you, Singing Lanius. And it combos well with Harpyists. Since if it's sent to the you can just play this, play Swallow's Nest, send it to the graveyard, and bring out whichever Raidraptor that you want. And of course, at the end of the turn, you can just activate its second effect, and you will get another search off. So that's good for this card. Also combos well to Sacred Crane. You can just do this. You can, like I said, sack Harpyists for it, special summon Sacred Crane, and draw a card. And then at the end, you get another card. So that's a pretty good combo right there. So I'm running one just to see what it's doing. Now the traps. We have Raidraptor's Return. A trap card. If a Raidraptor monster you control is destroyed by battle, target one Raidraptor monster in the graveyard. Add that card to your hand. If a Raidraptor monster you control is destroyed by card effect, you can banish this card from your graveyard. Add a Raidraptor card from your deck to your hand. You can only activate this effect of Raidraptor once per turn. This is a dual action card, meaning that it has an effect for the field and in the graveyard. The first effect, you're gonna lose some Raidraptors by battle because they're not supposed to, your individual Raidraptor cards will not be swinging that hard against that much. So this is pretty good. And you can just pretty much target any Raidraptor. You can target any Raidraptor monster in your hand. It doesn't even have to be one of these. It could be the Exceeds monster. The secondary effect, is useful in that if your opponent decides to do Dark Hole or Mirror Force or Torrential Tribute, you can just use this to say banish it from your grave and just get a free search. So I'm running 2 just to see what it does. Next, we have Raidraptor's Readiness, another dual action card. Raidraptor monsters you control cannot be destroyed by battle this turn. If you have a Raidraptor monster in your graveyard, you can banish this card from your graveyard. Add any damage you take this turn becomes 0. This card has saved my ass on many occasions on Dev Pro. First off, you can chain it to a lot of destruction effects, unless you're using Night Beam for some reason. Unless your opponent is using Night Beam, in which case you're fucked. And you can just say, bam, Raidraptor's Readiness, you can't destroy none of my Raidraptors this turn, so they'll have a hard time getting over them. Its secondary effect is good for saving you from those direct attacks when you're going to lose. Just say, hey, I banish you from the grave, you can't touch me this turn. So run 3 of these, definitely. Jumping over, we have Raidraptor's Gust, recently introduced. Raptor's Gust, Counter Trap. If you control a Raidraptor card, if a spell or trap is activated, negate the activation. If you do, destroy it. It's pretty much your standard specialty negation that a lot of the archetypes have. You're gonna have a Raidraptor card. So if your opponent activates a stupid trap card or a spell card to wipe out your field or gain them hand advantage, boom, just play Raptor's Gust. Now the only downside is because of how it's titled Raptor's Gust, even though it works with Raidraptor's cards, it is not a Raidraptor card. Since it doesn't have Raidraptors entirely in its name, you cannot search for this. You can only draw into it. So run 3 of them and pray for the best. Now we move on to Exceeds. Going for the Raidraptors Exceeds, we have Raidraptor Force Tricks. Rank 4, 100 attack, 2,000 defense. You need only 2 level 4 monsters. This card gains 500 attack and defense for each winged beast monster you control. Once per turn, you can detach 1 card from Exceed material from this card, add 1 level 4 dark winged beast type monster from your deck to your hand. This will be your primary searcher. You're going to probably make this on your first turn. And the additional attack can do it if you decide to swarm the entire field. And it counts for itself, so it's coming out at, so when it comes out, it's at 2,500 attacks, so it's going to rebuff some attacks. If you get the entirely out, if you have an entire field full of them, it gains an additional, that's 2,500 attack and defense. So it's swinging for 2,600, but its defense is going to be ungodly. So you're going to have to be swinging pretty hard. Your opponent has to be swinging pretty hard to take it down. Its effect gives this fast deck already more speed, because with this build you're gonna be searching a lot, either by Tribute Lanius or Mimicry Lanius or Impale Lanius. You're gonna be, or Harpies. You're gonna be doing a lot of searching. This makes your deck even faster, and that's what you want. So a level 4 Dark Winged Beast type monster. So you're going to be searching for all of these, and you can draw into her errantly, so there's nothing to worry about. Run 3 of these. Next we have Rise Falcon. Of course, like his predecessor, rank 4, 100 attack, 2000 defense. You need 3 level 4 Winged Beast type monsters. Shouldn't be hard. This card can attack all special summon monsters your opponent controls. Once per turn, you can detach 1 Exceed material from this card and then target 1 special summon monster your opponent controls. This card gains the attack equal to that monster's current attack. Now, there are a lot of special summon monsters in the game, so if your opponent feels like swarming the field with special summon monsters, you can just reply back with Rise Falcon. Then you can just activate his effect, gain the strongest special summon monster's attack, and then just start swinging and swinging and swinging and swinging. So you can wipe out his entire field depending on what they have. So I'm packing 2. Next up, we're going one rank higher to Raidraptor's Blaze Falcon. 1000 attack, 2000 defense, 3 level 5 Winged Beast type monsters. When this card has Exceeds material, it can attack your opponent directly. When this card inflicts battle damage to your opponent, you can target 1 monster your opponent controls, destroy it. Once per turn, you can detach 1 Exceed material from this card to destroy all special summon monsters your opponent controls. And if you do, inflict 500 points of damage for each. This, of course, you can easily summon it with Mimicry Lanius, who can boost the levels of all rank 4s to rank 5s, but it's better to just use the rank up magic cards. It's just easier that way. 1000 attack might not seem enough, but it's good for getting over that annoying strong special summon, that annoyingly strong monster, of course, unless you can't destroy it by card effect. And then destroying its effect, nuking the field of all special summon monsters. So there's that, unless you can't really, like I said before, a lot of these cards have immunity to destruction effects, so I'm only packing 2. Oh, I forgot to mention this trap card, Icarus Attack. Tribute a Winged Beast monster to select 2 cards on the field, destroy them. This is why I don't run Heavy Storm or MST. These are good enough. I might add an extra one just in case, because it just says pop 2 cards. So you can take out, depending on your opponent, you can take out their entire back row. And it doesn't matter what you send, because you can easily get it back with Nest or with one of the other cards. So there's that. But anyway, back to the Exceeds. We go even the highest rank. We go Raidraptor Revolution Falcon. 2000 attack, 3000 defense, 3 level 6 beast type monsters. You can detach 1 Exceed material from this card. This turn, this card can attack all of your opponent's monsters once each. At the start of the damage step, if this card battles a face-up special summon monster, that monster's attack and defense become 0. If this card has a Raidraptor's Exceeds as its Exceed material, it gains this effect. That's once per turn, you can target 1 monster your opponent controls, destroy it, and if you do, inflict damage to your opponent equal to half of its attack. Alright, let's look at... Of course, there's no way you can normally summon this bad boy because you have no level 6s. But you can still rank up to it using Revolutionary's Force on Blaze Falcon, or you can just skip it all together and use Astral's Force and rank up to it. Now, like I said, you can attack all your opponent's monsters once, and if it just happens to attack during their it just happens to attack a special summon monster, boom, its attack becomes 0 to be a dick. The secondary effect you're gonna get off because, well, you're ranking up from one of your Raidraptor's Exceeds cards. So this is a good way. The second effect is a good way to do some last-minute burn damage, just to not only clear the field, but also give you that little extra burn too. And now we move on to the splash. Now we move on to the splashable ones. The splashable rank force. We have Ice Beast Zero Fine. Exceed monster, 200 attack, 2200 defense, 2 level 4 winged beast monsters. Once per turn, you can detach one exceed material from this card. Negate the effects of all of the face-up cards your opponent currently controls, and if you do, this card's attack gains 300 attack for each one currently on the field, except this card. For facing it. Yeah, this could be a game winner in the right hands because a lot of people couldn't find a way to accurately summon this consistently. But this is pretty good in case you run into, remember those cards that have destruction effects, that you can use this to pretty much negate them and then swing in for pretty hard. And if depending on how many face-up monsters your opponent controls, it can be pumped up to ungodly levels. And it stays this way until your next standby phase. So you don't have to worry about them swinging over it. Pack 1. Next we have Diamond Dire Wolf. It's a Beast Earth type. 2000 attack, 1200 defense, 2 level 4s to make. Once per turn, you can detach one exceed material from this card, then target one beast warrior, or winged beast card you control, and one card on the field. Destroy them. This is another good card. You can pop you can pop any one of your raidraptors. You won't lose nothing because you can easily get them back with raptor nests and just start blowing up your opponent's back row. And you can still swing pretty hard for it. So there's that. Next up, Lightning Chidori. Thunder Wind type, 1900 attack, 1600 defense, rank 4, 2 level 4 wind monsters. Of course, you can use that one. But anyway, when this card is exceed summon, target one set card on your opponent's field that he controls. Return that card to the bottom of the deck. Once per turn, you can detach an exceed material from this card to target one face-up card your opponent controls. Return that card to the top of the deck. Like I said, there are a lot of things in this game that are immune to destruction effects. Lightning Chidori gets around that. Not only can it bounce back those annoying set cards in your opponent's back row that you're not sure of, but it also, which is free since it activates when you summon it, but you can also bounce another face-up card your opponent controls. Doesn't matter what, it's always a face-up, doesn't matter what it is. Useful against people who use level 10 monsters and an annoying field spell. Next up, of course, number 101, Silent Honors Arc, rank 4, 2100 attack, 1000 defense. You can detach 2 exceed materials from this card, then target one special summon monster your opponent controls in attack position. Attach it to this card as face-up exceed material. You can only use this card effect once per turn. If this card will be destroyed, you can detach one exceed material from this card instead. Anyone who runs any rank 4 monsters runs this card. Because, like I said, a lot of cards are immune to destruction effects. 101 just doesn't destroy them, it absorbs them. And this is why a lot of players play special summon monsters in defense mode rather than attack mode. They're scared of this guy. You should be scared of this guy. Anyone who plays rank 4s, you would be using him, and you should be scared of him. And his immune to destruction effect gives him a little bit of survivability, as well as a target for rank up for Raptor's Force and Astral Force and all the other ranks up. So I'm only playing one of him, just in case. And finally, the last one in our arsenal is Evil Swarm Exciton Knight. Fiend Light Monster, weird combination. 1900 attack, 0 defense. 2 level 4 monsters. Once per chain during your main phase or your opponent's battle phase, your opponent has more total cards in their hand and on this side of the field than you do. You can detach this material from this card, destroy all of the cards in the field. Also, your opponent takes no damage. This is a quick effect. This is very useful for just clearing the board. It takes out everything that your opponent has if they happen to outnumber you. So this is a good desperation card in case you don't have any options left. So there's that. I play one of them because I really don't have the room for any more of them. So yeah, that is my overview of the Raidraptor cards. Alright, I will be posting a video of me playing this deck depending on what it is. And of course, using Salvation, the deck system is very smooth and very fast. Like I said, if you're used to Dev Pro, but you don't like how it's been acting, you can switch to Salvation Pro. It's done by a few of the same people from the Dev Pro team, but a little bit smoother, a little bit faster, a bit more responsive. So if you like Dev Pro but don't have problems, switch to Salvation. But yeah, this is Raidraptors. Like them, get used to them, use them if you want. These I can see this deck being pretty powerful in the upcoming metagame. So that's my profile of my deck profile of Raidraptors. Like what you see? Link, comment, subscribe below. Got any questions or comments? Leave them below. I'll get back to you. Click to support the channel. Click on an advertisement. Doesn't take about a second out of your day. Or leave a little something in the tip jar. Any little bit helps. So until next time, it's shintigercurl and that dude in the straw hat saying good day and game on.